Kamsahamnida. Shanti. Peace to you. Peace to me. Hello and welcome to another video. My name is Peter, and today I want to talk about no time for nonsense. Ain't nobody got no time for that, man. No time for nonsense. How much nonsense do you listen to or watch every day? No, don't. Stop. Empower yourself. There's so much nonsense happening. We get it from a very, very early age as human beings. Of, don't talk like that. That's ridiculous. And then you go, well, actually, you're saying how I feel is ridiculous. As a child, you've been processing this, and therefore you think you're damaged or not worthy or not good enough. And this is all coming out now of how we've been damaging the psyche of children by feeding them nonsense, what I perceive to be as nonsense. The only way to survive in this world is to fit into this society. And you what is it? Krishnamurti said it isn't a true measure of health to be well adjusted to a profoundly sick society. So it is profoundly sick society. So to me, that's nonsense, absolute nonsense. And more people are seeing now on the internet are waking up and saying, well, this is over now. This whole nonsensical way that we've been living is over. You've got all these intellectual powers forcing their viewpoints across at you. It's all force. So they're not powerful at all, they're just forceful, and all they're doing is trying to corral everything back into the way that it was. What, so that we can carry on trashing the planet, so that we can carry on getting sicker and sicker as a species, so we can carry on competing and abusing each other? No! It's nonsense. Absolute nonsense. So the real key to this is keeping away from people who distract you from your purpose, your path, your journey of life. And they're telling you you're full of rubbish, nonsense. No, you are full of nonsense, trying to suck me into a world which I see is completely upside down. Completely upside down, nonsensical. What was that quote? It was amazing. Doctors destroy health, teachers destroy education, priests destroy spirituality. There's an amazing quote that really does turn everything upside down. And you listen to Martin Luther King, as inspirational as he was, really hammering it out there to say, believe in your convictions. Not if you're way off path, obviously you're some sort of radical lunatic. But no, you want the best for everybody. It might not be the best for everybody, but at least you're putting your all in. It seems like to me that so many good people have just stayed quiet, silent, when all this craziness, this nonsensical stuff has been built up around us. That's all it is. It's been built up around us so that we think, this is it, this is life. No, it isn't. No, it isn't. There's many boundaries and many wonderful things to be explored. And really, it's the journey inside that creates the journey outside. It's not the other way around. It's not that you go out there, try and find a job, try and find a wife or a husband, trying to find a house, trying to find a life. No, actually it all starts within. Know thyself, Jesus said. Know thyself. How many times have you heard that in spiritual teachings? Know thyself. Really the most important thing. As above, so below. As within, so without. The Hermetic principles. Really important to understand that. Understand, understand, and overstand it. So you understand it, so it starts to seep into you. You understand it, becomes part of your natural way of thinking about it. You overstand it, so you can look at this knowledge and go, yeah, I get it now, I'm empowered. Not listening to nonsense, oh, you have to do this to get to here, 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 and then you're 85, and then please hurry up and move on to the next level of existence, i.e. die. No. Human beings can live to 120 years of age. It's in our DNA. It was actually written in the Bible. Il Lee's written a wonderful book called I've Decided to Live to 120 Years of Age. And I tell you what, if you do that, you decide to do that, your life suddenly starts to change. Your consciousness starts to change because you realise, actually, I've got a little bit longer to live than I thought I had. I better not be drinking that bottle of Jack Daniels a day. Because you're not going to get past 60. You know, it's you start to, your natural wisdom starts to kick in because you're not listening to nonsense anymore. You're actually starting to hook into the higher energies of yourself. It's so important. So keep on track with your life mission. Stop listening to nonsensical words from other people. Doesn't make sense. You listen and go, doesn't mean you have to fight them. It doesn't mean you have to argue the point. You can have a discussion. That's difficult in today's world. People are so attached to their dogmas and so passionate about their belief systems, and it's just a BS. It's just belief system. It's no bigger than that. And they're really ingrained in their ego, which is destructive. Ego is so destructive, but we can use it as a tool. Same with our mind. Can be very destructive, but we can use it as a tool. We need to free our mind and take back our brain. So our brain actually works for us. So you start to become discerning and using your intuition to get past the nonsensical way of how this all works. A very good example for me is the climate change scenario that we're being fed. So yes, the climate changes all the time, and the climate really isn't to do with the weather. Two different things. You've got the climate and the weather. You listen to the Scientologists, Scientologists, don't listen to them. The scientists who are speaking out, conversations that matter. If you go to that YouTube site and listen to some of the people who speak about the climate and in particular carbon dioxide, it's a different viewpoint, a very different viewpoint. And I was taught that carbon dioxide is food for plants. So if we want a greener world, we need more carbon dioxide. And that is true. And if you say carbon is the problem, that means we as carbon-based life forms are the problem. No. It's our conditioning, the way that we live, the nonsensical way that we live. We take, consume, and then discard. Look at Kenya and all these other countries have got all this tech waste strewn all over. Oh, it's awful. So, is that sensical? No, that's nonsensical. It's rubbish. It's not the way to go forward. So you're becoming more discerning, listening to your intuition. So the carbon thing. Carbon is very difficult to measure, carbon dioxide. And when you've got a field of, say, corn, for instance, you've got high levels of carbon dioxide above the corn. By the end of the day, that's virtually gone, virtually disappeared. And the more carbon dioxide that's in the environment, the more drought resistant plants become. And these are the plants that we eat. Plant-based diet, organic, yeah? So the more drought resistant they become, the less water they need, so the less resources they take up, which is good for everybody. Very commonsensical, not nonsensical. And we're coming to the end of a climate change cycle. And where the scientists have cut off where the warming periods are, they've got a hockey stick now. You go back a little bit, you've got the medieval warming period, and then you go back a little bit further, you've got the Egyptian warming period, which is enormous. And they've cut into Greenland and I think it's the Arctic or Antarctic, one of the two, and gone down 25,000 years, 250,000 years, 250,000 years, and they've seen a cycle to how the climate works. Big cycles, a little bit different sometimes, occasionally, obviously, to how the sun and the moon and all the other energies on the planet are interacting with it. And they found that actually we're in carbon dioxide deficiency at the moment, because the array of plants that used to be on this planet used to be far more diverse. Now that's a very sensical, makes sense to me, not the nonsensical carbon dioxide is a greenhouse gas, is going to kill us all. We're going to measure your carbon footprint by measuring nitrogen and all the other gases. That's what this country for. So this is your carbon footprint, but it's got nitrogen in there, methane, blah 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 blah. What? It's either carbon or it isn't. It's not. I mean, I'm not so black and white as that, but and it's the nonsensical way of speaking comes from the television. It's enormous. So really focus on the sense. Be yourself. Focus on yourself. You can bring this energy into yourself and see that this is a nonsensical world. And remember that quote from Krishnamurti. It's not a sign of health to be well adjusted to a profoundly sick society. Very important to understand that, understand it and overstand it. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed this video. I've enjoyed making it. If you have, please like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. Sarang Hamnida.